Imagine, for a moment, looking up at the night sky. Not just any night sky, but the one our ancestors gazed upon for millennia. A sky teeming with stars, a luminous river of light we call the Milky Way. For most of human history, this was the extent of our universe. Every light in the sky was a star within our own celestial neighborhood. The idea that there was anything beyond this silver mist was not just unknown, it was unthinkable. Now, imagine that river, that cosmic tapestry, is all there is. No other galaxies, no distant nebulae, just our own island universe, adrift in an infinite, empty blackness. If you looked out from our world, you would see nothing but the void. No Andromeda, no Triangulum, no Magellanic Clouds. Just a singular island of light in a sea of eternal night. For centuries, humanity believed this to be the literal truth. Our galaxy was the universe. The discovery that other galaxies existed, that we were just one of billions, was a radical revolution in the early 20th century. But what if, even today, there existed a place so vast, so profoundly empty, that if our Milky Way were somehow transported to its center, we wouldn't have known other galaxies existed until the 1960s. A place where the cosmic silence is deafening, and the darkness is absolute. This is not a hypothetical thought experiment. This place is real. It is a gaping wound in the fabric of the cosmos. It is known as the Boötes Void, or more chillingly, the Great Nothing. In the grand architecture of the universe, matter is not spread out evenly. It follows a structure known as the cosmic web. Imagine a giant sponge or a network of soap bubbles. The walls of these bubbles are made of hundreds of billions of galaxies, clustered together in long filaments and massive superclusters. But inside the bubbles, there is almost nothing. These are cosmic voids, vast expanses of near vacuum that make up the majority of the universe's volume. These voids are a natural consequence of gravity. Since the dawn of time, gravity has been pulling matter together. As galaxies clumped into clusters, they effectively robbed the surrounding space of its matter. Over billions of years, these empty regions expanded, becoming the cosmic deserts we see today. But even among these deserts, the Boötes Void is an anomaly. It is the Sahara of the universe, a region so immense it challenges our very understanding of how the universe grew. Our journey into the heart of this darkness begins in 1981. A team of astronomers, led by Robert Kirshner, was conducting what seemed like a routine survey of the heavens. They were measuring redshifts, the way light from distant galaxies stretches as they move away from us. By measuring these shifts, they could create a three-dimensional map of the universe. They weren't looking for holes, they were looking for structure. But as the data points began to fill the map, a terrifying pattern emerged, or rather, a lack of one. In the direction of the constellation Boötes, there was a hole, a massive spherical volume of space where, by all the laws of statistics and physics, there should have been thousands of galaxies. Instead, there was a void. The discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It was like looking at a dense forest and suddenly finding a perfectly circular clearing 5 miles wide with not a single blade of grass in it. Kirshner famously remarked that if the Milky Way were at the center of this void, we wouldn't have discovered another galaxy for decades. We would have felt utterly, profoundly alone. To understand why this is so unsettling, we have to talk about scale. The Boötes Void is approximately 330 million light-years in diameter. To put that in perspective, our Milky Way is 100,000 light-years across. You could fit nearly 3,300 Milky Ways side by side across the diameter of this void. Its volume is so massive that it accounts for nearly 0.27% of the entire observable universe. If you were standing on a planet in the middle of this void, the night sky would be terrifying. In every direction, for millions of light-years, there would be nothing. The nearest galaxies would be so far away that they would be invisible to the naked eye. The universe would look like a cold, dead, and empty place. But the void isn't completely empty. Over the decades, as our telescopes became more powerful, we began to find residents of the Great Nothing. To date, we have found about 60 galaxies inside the void. Now, that might sound like a lot, but remember the scale. In a region of space that size, The laws of the universe say there should be at least 10,000 galaxies. These void galaxies are some of the most fascinating objects in astronomy. Because they are so isolated, they haven't interacted with other galaxies for billions of years. They haven't been distorted by tidal forces. They haven't merged with neighbors. They are pristine galaxies, frozen in a state of evolutionary solitude. They are the hermits of the cosmos. Interestingly, these 60 galaxies aren't just floating randomly. They seem to form a faint, tube-like structure through the center of the void. Astronomers believe this might be the remnant of an old filament, a bridge of matter that was slowly stretched and thinned as the void expanded. It's like a single spider silk thread remaining in a room where the rest of the web has been swept away. This brings us to the biggest question of all. How? How did a hole this big form in a universe that is supposed to be relatively uniform on a large scale? The most widely accepted scientific theory is the merging theory. Think of the voids in the universe like bubbles in a sink full of soapy water. As the universe expands, these bubbles grow. Sometimes the walls between two bubbles become so thin that they break. When two smaller voids merge, they create a supervoid. The Boötes Void is likely the result of several smaller voids that collided and became one gargantuan expanse of nothingness. But even this theory has its critics. Some computer models suggest that there hasn't been enough time since the Big Bang for a void of this magnitude to form naturally through simple merging. This discrepancy has led some to look for more exotic explanations. Enter the Kardashev scale. This is a method proposed by Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev to measure a civilization's level of technological advancement based on the amount of energy they can use. A Type 1 civilization uses the energy of its planet. A Type 2 uses the energy of its star. But a Type 3 civilization, they harness the energy of an entire galaxy. There is a speculative yet haunting theory that the Boötes Void is not a natural phenomenon, but an artificial one. The idea is that an incredibly advanced Type 3 civilization, or a collection of them, began expanding through this region of space millions of years ago. As they moved from star to star and galaxy to galaxy, they built Dyson shells to capture every single photon of energy. From the outside, these galaxies wouldn't look like they exploded or moved. They would simply vanish. They would become dark, invisible to our telescopes because their light is being trapped and used by an intelligence we can't even fathom. Under this theory, the Boötes Void isn't empty, it's occupied. It's a vast empire of darkened galaxies, hidden from our sight. While most mainstream scientists dismiss this as pure science fiction, the theory persists because it explains the perfection of the void and the missing matter in a way that our current models struggle to do. It taps into our deepest existential fears, that we are not just alone in the universe, but that we are living in the shadow of giants. But let's step back from the edge of speculation and look at what the void tells us about our future. The Boötes Void is a preview of the ultimate fate of our entire universe. We live in an expanding universe. Right now, we can still see our neighbors, but as space continues to stretch, the voids will grow. Eventually, every galaxy will be surrounded by its own great nothing. The cosmic web will tear, and every island of stars will become a solitary prisoner in an infinite vacuum. The Boötes Void is just ahead of the curve. It is a glimpse into a future where the light of the universe slowly goes out, one bubble at a time. It's a humbling thought. We live in a brief window of cosmic history where the universe is full. We can see the history of the Big Bang, we can see our sister galaxies, and we can map the filaments of the cosmic web. But the Boötes Void stands as a silent reminder that this fullness is temporary. What is life like in those 60 lonely galaxies? Do they have astronomers looking out into the dark, wondering if they are the only life in existence? Do they have myths about a great wall of light that exists just beyond the reach of their telescopes? We may never know. Those galaxies are so far away, and moving away from us so fast, that we will likely never reach them. They are messages in a bottle that we can see, but never touch. The great nothing teaches us to value the great something we have here. Our local group, our neighboring clusters, the vibrant activity of a universe that is still young and connected. The void is a masterpiece of absence, a monument to the power of gravity and time. It is a reminder that in the cosmos, what isn't there can be just as important and just as terrifying as what is. So, the next time you look up at the stars, appreciate the light. Appreciate the neighbors. Because out there, in the direction of the herdsman, lies a place where the stars have gone out and the darkness has won. A place where the universe holds its breath. The great nothing is waiting,